Life was good, really good, like suspiciously good. I had it all, the perfect wife Brenda and a dog named Sir Barks-a-Lot. Yes, I know, a tad cliche, but what can I say? I'm a sucker for a fluffy tail and a wagging derriere. Brenda was the love of my life, beautiful, witty, and she made a mean shepherd's pie. Sir Barks-a-Lot, well, he mostly just barked and ate my slippers. But hey, no one's perfect. It was a match made in sitcom heaven, except for one tiny, nagging detail. Brenda seemed to understand Sir Barks-a-Lot a little too well. At first, I dismissed it as a wife-dog thing. You know, the way they communicate through a series of whistles, hand gestures, and the occasional treat bribe. But this was different. This was next-level telepathy. Bordering on the supernatural, I'd catch them exchanging glances, Brenda murmuring sweet nothings in Sir Barks-a-Lot's floppy ear. He'd cock his head, his tail thumping a happy rhythm against the floor, as if he actually understood her every word. The turning point came during a particularly rousing game of Scrabble. Brenda, a notorious wordsmith, was trouncing me, as usual. Sir Barks-a-Lot lay sprawled at her feet, his eyes glued to the game with an intensity that would rival a chess grandmaster. "Your word, darling," Brenda chirped, her eyes twinkling mischievously. I surveyed my paltry letters, Q, Z, X, and a couple of vowels. Defeat was imminent. Just then, Sir Barks-a-Lot let out a bark. Not just any bark, mind you, but a series of sharp staccato woofs like a furry Morse code operator. "He's right, you know," Brenda said, casually rearranging her letters. "Key is a perfectly acceptable word." My jaw dropped. Key? Since when did my wife turn into a Scrabble savant, fluent in obscure Chinese words? And more importantly, how on earth did Sir Barks-a-Lot know? The Chi incident was just the tip of the iceberg. Soon I was finding dog biscuits hidden in my sock drawer, my slippers mysteriously moved to the top shelf. Sir Barks-a-Lot was clearly not tall enough for that. And the TV constantly tuned to dog shows. "Brenda, love," I ventured one evening, trying to sound casual, "have you noticed anything, well, unusual about Sir Barks-a-Lot lately?" She looked up from her knitting, a serene smile on her face. "Unusual? Like what, darling?" "Oh, you know, the talking, the telepathy, the uncanny ability to win at Scrabble." She chuckled, a melodic sound that did nothing to soothe my growing unease. "Darling, you're being silly. He's just a dog." But was he? The evidence suggested otherwise. I was determined to get to the bottom of this canine conspiracy. Days turned into weeks, my paranoia reaching new heights. Then one afternoon I stumbled upon Brenda's diary tucked under a pile of knitting supplies. My heart pounded in my chest. This was it, the answer to the mystery. I flipped it open, my eyes scanning the pages. There, in Brenda's neat handwriting, was the truth, more outlandish, more hilarious, and far less sinister than I could have ever imagined. Brenda wasn't communicating with Sir Barks-a-Lot. She was writing a children's book, a hilarious tale about a talking dog who solves crimes and wins Scrabble championships. Sir Barks-a-Lot, it turned out, was her muse, his quirky habits providing endless inspiration for her stories. Relief washed over me, followed by a wave of embarrassment. All this time I'd been suspecting a canine conspiracy when the truth was far more mundane and infinitely more amusing. I guess even in the most ordinary of lives, there's room for a little bit of extraordinary, even if it comes from a dog-loving wife with a wild imagination.